Hi, I'm Froggy Lumpy.
And I'm Phenix Animator, and welcome to Learning Botania A to Z, Episode 4.
Episode 4. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
We need to get started on runes, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so the last episode we made a runic altar, so let's explain why we need runic altars. Let's just quickly go over the setup here, okay? You're going to need mana in your mana pool, so the Endo Flame is set up here is something that you can constantly feed. So you've got your open crate, dropping your coal, keeping your Endo Flames alive. Your Endo Flames will send by, let me just show, there we go. Your Endo Flame shows, by looking at it with your wand, shows the green, well, now it's blue, it changes colors, onto the mana spreader. The mana spreader then brings it over to the mana pool. The mana pool then brings it to this mana spreader. This mana spreader, when I click on it, you see that it's full, and it is highlighting the runic altar, so you know that all of the pieces are fitting together. What do we put on this runic altar? Let's start with the basics: water, fire, earth, and air.
Okay.
There's your 4 starter ones. Okay, now, in order to make the rune of air, I also want to mention that if you're in your NEI or JEI, you'll notice a control question mark on top of anything that you scroll over in NEI or JEI. In Botania, you'll always see that, and what that does is bring you to the correct page in the book. So if I hit control and hold down the control, it automatically opens up the book and lets me go to the page that I'm speaking about, and this happens to be the runic altar. It will give you the recipe for your runic altar and start doing a little bit of explaining on how you want to use the runic altar. And there's our first recipe right there. We need, for the first recipe of the rune of water, we need, oh look, we don't have this, mana powder. Could you make us some mana powder, please?
Why, certainly I can make some mana powder.
We also need mana steel, bone meal, sugarcane, and a wooden fishing rod, which I have in my hotbar. So, we need that mana powder, please.
Alrighty. To get the mana powder, you're going to need some mana in your mana pool, and then you'll walk up to it, and you'll see the little check mark. You can throw in for mana powder, you can throw in gunpowder. That will get you some, which is wonderful. You can also throw in some redstone if you have extra of it. I wouldn't go that route.
Gunpowder's so much cheaper.
Exactly. Not to mention creepers are almost everywhere.
That's for sure.
And then another option you can do is you can take your pestle and mortar and your mystical petals. Doesn't have to be black, it can be any of the colors, and you can make floral powder of it. And you can also use that, not that. You can also use that to make your dust as well.
So you have several options to get your dust.
Exactly, and there's a few other options you can do for throwing into here. You can also throw in some string, and that will get you mana string. You can throw in some glass, and that gets you mana glass. You can throw in ingots, and that will get you mana ingots.
But you need a lot of
mana steel.
That is one of the main components, so you definitely need a lot of iron thrown in there for your mana steel. You use that a lot.
You also can throw in an ender pearl for a mana pearl. And you can throw in a diamond for mana diamonds. Okay, so I have all of your mana powder.
That sounds wonderful. May I have it, please?
Certainly.
I only need like 4 pieces. You're spitting.
Pew, 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 pew.
Okay, so there we go. Let's, on your runic altar, what you want to do is right click, and that places something on there. I'm gonna also need living rock. Can you bring me some, please?
Certainly.
So the recipe is the mana powder, mana steel, right click, bone meal, right click, sugarcane, right click, and fishing rod, right click. You can see the little lightning sparks or lightning bolts, I guess, and that's showing that it's actually going through all its process. And when you look at the runic altar, you see on the runic altar the little check mark saying it's all done and it's all ready to go. So now the only thing that's left to actually get the product that you're wanting is to throw a piece of living rock onto the altar, and then with your wand of the forest, then just right click and there you go. Now you have 2 rune of water.
Cool.
So now let's go ahead and real quick go through the process of all of these runes of the water, fire, earth, and air. Okay, so if I put on, what did you put on and take off?
I put on mana powder, and then I shift right click and took off mana powder.
So if you accidentally put on, like, say I put on 2 pieces of mana steel, and the recipe only calls for 1. So now, and there's a pestle and mortar there, that's wrong. So you accidentally put something on there. So just right click with an empty hand, and it brings it back off. So now I only have the 1 mana steel, which is the correct recipe. And so, no, don't throw it. Right click, and the next rune of fire, we need nether brick, gunpowder, and nether wart. And there we go. You can see it's making the rune of fire, and you can see the little time clock going around in the green, and it shows you it's almost done. There's an X there saying it's not ready. There we go. There is the check mark saying it's ready. So we just need the wand of the forest, right click, and now we have 2 rune of fires now.
Cool.
So moving along, the next thing we're going to do, all of these recipes have the same exact thing as far as the mana powder, mana steel, and then they all have different things for the other 3 ingredients. This one is stone, block of coal, and a brown mushroom. And you can see that it's working, going around, and you're throwing too much rock over there. It only needs 1 piece. There we go. It's all ready to go. And wand of the forest. There we are. And now we have our rune of earth. So last but not least would be our rune of air. And so with the rune of air, we are going to use the mana powder, mana steel, carpet, feather, and string. All of these are in the book, easily read in the book, and easy to understand too. And you're placing this living rock on how?
I am dropping it on. I'm just pressing the Q button.
Okay. And so I just right click onto the runic altar, and there we go. We have all 4. So now we have the beginning, and you get 2 of everything. So we have the beginning stages here of our runes.
That's wonderful.
Some of the recipes will use up the rune and some will not. Let's go ahead and make something with the runes, since we have created the runes. And I am going to choose to make a rod, because we haven't made a rod yet. So let's make a rod. And if we put a rune of water in here with a stick and a bottle of water. Can I have a bottle of water, please?
Sure. Glass bottle.
Glass bottle, 3 pieces of glass, and some water.
And some water.
We're going to make, right down here is the rod of the seas.
Ooh.
And again, if you hit and hold a control, it'll take you to it. And looky there, the Rod of the Seas, at the cost of some mana, will place down a water block wherever it's used on, right? So, if we have a Rod of the Sea, and we have a mana tablet in our inventory, since I have this in my inventory, I can go anywhere. Like, for instance, I can come over here and say, oh, I want water in here. Voila. Right click. There we go. Water is there. If I wanted to place, like, maybe I want to make a fountain. Water. There we go. Well,
that's cool.
That's not a fountain. Yeah, that's just flowing water. If you right click on it again, it doesn't take it away. It just places water. But here's a really good thing of the Rod of the Sea. A really good thing to have for it is, check it out, the Petal Apothecary. You have to constantly refill it, right?
Yep.
Instead of keeping the bucket up here like we have and refilling it, you can just right click and there you go, the Petal Apothecary.
Oh my goodness, that's
it's
wonderful.
Ready to go. So it's a really handy thing for Petal Apothecary. So we have the Rod of the Sea so that we can place water in any spot that we want to. Anywhere at all. Now that I have the band of mana back on me, I should have had that in my baubles chest. Bauble case. There we go. We can put it in there. So if I put it in there, and then I come over here and I try to place some water down, it won't work. So if I take it out of my bauble case and place it in my inventory, now if I try to place water, look, I placed water. There it is. Thank you very much for picking that back up.
You're welcome.
That will do it for this episode. I am Froggy Lumpy.
And I'm Phenix Animator.
Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. We'll get into a little bit deeper depths on the book here with showing more on, like, for instance, the Horn of the Wild, a few other little bits and bobs like that, and some more flower generation and some functional flora.
Sounds good.
That would be the good thing to do, is the functional flora. I'm Froggy Lumpy.
And I'm Phenix Animator.
Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. Have a great day.
Hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below.
Bye.
Bye.
I am waving. I forgot.
See you all later.
There we go. Emotes.
I guess.